What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Ever Adaptive Podcast. I'm your host, Becky Flowers, along with my co-host here, Sarah Budson.
What's up, guys?
What's up? I feel like we need a new intro. It needs to be faster.
Maybe after our 50th episode. Let's get there and then we'll
Okay.
we're
But how are
almost there.
you? We are almost
Good,
there.
I'm good. Isn't that crazy? It's almost been a year. It's almost been a year.
Holy crap. Yeah, because we started in June.
Uh-huh.
Where did that year go? It feels like we've lived like 5 lives
I
in a
know.
year.
I almost just want to watch back like all of our episodes. Like just have a day where I just binge watch us, even though I'm so sick of it. Like I know we've had so many good points and like great discussions that would be really cool.
I think it would, and I think it would be funny to and interesting to see like the mindset shift
Mhm.
too. Especially I look back at like things that I said when I was deep in prep, and I'm like, oh gosh, okay. Which
Yeah.
it hit then, but now I'm like in a different spot. So
Yeah. And it's
but
well, it's cool to watch like even ourselves just go through those chapters and those different seasons of like where we're at and what we're learning. And
mhm.
like you and I have done before, there's certain things that like every now and then we'll go back and like revisit one of our old episodes. Damn, I really needed to hear that, like those
Yeah,
reminders for ourselves that are so useful and like so valuable. Like I'm so glad that we've done this.
I am too. It's like our little diary.
Yeah. But no, I'm good. I was just telling you before we started recording. Today was the first day. I know we've talked about this last year when it was still warm out, but our first thing in the morning walks, first thing before anything, just phone at home, no music, no nothing, just us in nature. And I did, I don't know, almost 2K steps first thing in the morning and just sunshine. And it was the best start to my Saturday because it's Saturday that we're
I
recording
love
this.
that. I love that so much, and that's a good reminder for me because I totally like my whole routines are off. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna be doing that again. And it's so nice out.
Man, and it's just like such a grounding thing. And like it just starts the day in such a positive way that like we underestimate I'm not going to say stupid, but little tiny, things like that so much where it's like that kicks off the day just like in the perfect way. So
It really does. Yeah.
how are you? How's your we've like barely talked this week. How's your week been? I know that you've been crazy running around. You've got dance recitals left and right for your kiddos.
Yeah. Dance recitals. We got track meets. We got, I don't even know. The kids have had something every single night this week. So it's a good week, but it's been the longest week of my life. And I'm just so glad it's Saturday and we're almost to the end of recitals. And then we can just breathe.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. And I'm like, we gotta record. I gotta go train. I gotta go get these kids. Like
I
it's just
know.
bam, bam, bam. But
Yeah.
Kristen is turning 15 on Monday.
Oh my gosh, that's
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah, we're a month out from him starting driver's ed, but we're going to the Cubs game. One of my really good friends moved down to Texas, and her son are back this weekend. So we're gonna go to the Cubs game tomorrow.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I would assume that it's probably going to be gorgeous out. Like the weather this like weekend and this upcoming week is just like insanely beautiful.
I hope so. I haven't even looked, but I mean, today is gorgeous. So let's just hope that it's
Yeah.
nice.
Well, next week doesn't really matter to me because I am going to Mexico all week.
Yeah. When are you leaving? When you leave?
We leave Monday morning. We leave Monday morning. So actually I'm gone for 2 days prior because I'm going to go down to Darren's today and then tomorrow and then Monday morning we leave for the airport and then we're there Monday through Friday and then I'm heading back to his house once we get home for that following weekend. So I won't be home
Oh my
until
gosh.
next Monday, which is like what, like 10 days away. I'm like, ah, but yeah, so that being said, we're training tonight and tomorrow. I'm just moving my Monday night session to tomorrow so I can get all of my training in, which I'm really excited about. And then I'm actually off training all week in Mexico because those were the instructions.
Good. Mr. Mark.
Mr. Mark, I
Smart
was like,
guy.
I can still train. He's like, I think you should just go sit in the sun. And I was like, okay.
Maybe you should just chill the fuck out.
Right. He's like, this trip is going to be great for you.
Mm-hmm.
Which I
It
still have
is.
to stay on gut protocol, which is fine. Like, it doesn't bother me. It's an all inclusive. So, like, whatever. I'm bringing my little essentials that, like, I definitely need, like my coconut oil, my almond butter, little things that I need, my cream of rice. I'm just bringing a whole box of cream of rice. But,
Right.
yeah, just stay on plan. It'll be easy there because like all the food down there is just like so fresh and like made to order. Like it's not, I'm not worried about staying on plan, so it'll be good. And I have the whole week off training, which I'm excited to like actually get my training in this weekend, which actually I guess segues us to our
Yeah,
topic
this is perfect.
today.
Keep going.
Um, I'm really excited to train. Well, I train tonight and tomorrow, and Darren and I are going to train together, which I always love being able to do, and we can actually train together. But I'm just looking forward to being able to train and then like take some time off, and then that'll kind of give me that like once I'm back to like I'll be more excited to train again too.
Mhm.
And leading that into our topic, I think just like gratitude for being appreciative of our training sessions and not taking bodybuilding for granted, right? Not taking these gym sessions for granted. I know that you can, get into these lulls and it becomes monotonous and it becomes like, oh, I have to go to the gym and I have to go get my training in. Like, oh,
Mhm.
I have to squeeze in my training before this and this. Like you are in a time pinch right now, right? Where it's like, well, I got to do this, this, but it's like, I think that's the biggest thing for me with having to scale back my training, not training 4 or 5 days a week anymore, but 4 times every freaking 10 days, which feels like nothing.
Yeah.
But it really makes me appreciate those sessions. And like I can truly say with especially the last few weeks, because I've even scaled back further on really not pushing past 3 RIR, which has been really hard for me because I'm such an ego-driven bodybuilder.
Hmm.
And I had this talk with Darren about it. I was like, I know I'm strong. Like, I don't need to prove that to anyone,
Yeah.
I being able to step back and lighten up weight and really, really like I've never been just like one to move weight, like just move weight, right? Like it's always intentional reps. But taking it to that like further extreme of really lightening up weight, tossing my ego out the door, really making that connection and being super, super intentful with every single part of each rep
Hmm.
is my training has never felt better. And like everything is just like moving right along and like my body's responding so well and my mood is great and like my sessions are so awesome and it's just making me just fall even more in love with it like all over again. And it's just something that I'm like so extremely grateful for because I truly, truly look forward to my sessions because they're, so few and far between, but every session, like I can truly say the last few weeks, every single session has been one of those sessions where you leave the gym and you're like, damn, that was a good training session.
Those are the best. I feel like I haven't had those in a little bit. So that's why this topic's interesting because I'm like the polar opposite currently, where I'm burnt out as fuck on life. So
And being
um
burnt out of training, it can happen so easily too, right?
yeah, especially coming out of prep, I feel like you're like go, 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 and you feel like you have to show up. And now that we're in this season, we're both in that season of like pullback. Um, I had a really hard time with it at first, and now I'm like, okay, this is nice. Like I like being able to pull back. Um, I want to highlight what you said though about not being so ego driven and focusing more on your reps and having better sessions because I think that's a good reminder for me and for everyone else. Like we're not there to prove anything to anyone. We are just there to improve ourselves and that could be feeling the rep a little bit better. Right now I'm really focused on my leg days and they're really mentally taxing because my left glute doesn't respond as well as my right. So I have to like really think about my hinging movements and like scooping my glute, which is really mentally taxing. And I don't like
Mhm.
it. Uh, so I think it can be really good to just pull back and realize like what you're doing with every single rep and every single movement. If you are feeling a little bit burnt out.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, it's so easy to get into that, like you're busy, 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 right? Like
Mhm.
I have to do this and I have to do that. And then I have to, I gotta fit training in, somewhere, right? Where I've almost kind of I definitely have reframed it. And this is a little bit different for you because like you have kids and you have like 10 million more things going on than I do. But like
Yeah.
I schedule my life around my training because like it's so few and far between where it's like those are non-negotiable days. So like I have those in and I schedule everything else around them. And so it's not like well, I'll get it in if I can. Some people are like that. Obviously, not you and I, but like we'll get it in regardless. But sometimes it does feel like a burden, you
Yeah.
know? And I think that just kind of switching that from, I mean, we hear this time and time again, right? Like, oh, I get to train, but really actually honing in mentally on those. And yes, it's taxing, but being appreciative for those things. And I was going somewhere with this and I forgot.
Oh no, this is good. Um, I you're completely right. Like realizing that we get to do this, as cliche as it is, like
It is.
we get to do this. And they're making us better. So even though we're running like a million miles an hour and we're trying to fit this all in, like our training sessions are making us better mentally, physically, emotionally, like
And we're choosing to do this too. It
that.
doesn't need to be a burden because like if you don't want to fucking do it, then don't, you know.
Hey, don't tell me with a good time right now. Because that's where I'm at.
But
Like,
but
why the
Becky,
fuck?
what choice are you gonna make when it comes to that?
I'm still gonna do it.
Okay then.
Gonna be happy about it all the time, but I'm gonna do it.
Be grateful for it because it's making you better. And it is also proving to you and your kids that you're going to continue to show up for yourself.
That is very true. And honestly, just speaking to all the parents, like that is, and aunts, uncles, like you have kids in your life that are watching you. It doesn't have to be your blood. Um, but even going through like my kids' sports right now, like my son is doing track, he's a sprinter, he's never ran in his life. And he comes home every day and he's like, my legs hurt. I'm like, that's good. We're working them. Like we keep showing up. And so every single day we still show up to practice and we still do what we got to do. So it is a good example for all those kids in our life.
And not even kids too, but like people that are just watching, you know.
Mhm.
I can't tell you how many times throughout the years that I've had people reach out and they're like people that I haven't talked to in years, right? And they're just like, "Hey, like I really appreciate everything that you post and like, motivational stuff or whatever, like I hate that word because it's so fleeting, but just like continuing to show up because people are watching, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes if you don't want to show up for you, show up for whoever in your life.
But keeping that root of you are showing up for yourself and also kind of having that differentiation, kind of circling back to like the ego thing, right? Where it's like, I don't have anything to prove to anyone
Mhm.
except for myself. And this was like a really big, this is what I was trying to remember to talk about earlier. This is where I
Okay,
was going.
go.
The whole ego thing where it's like I have always been like sometimes I get too caught up in the logbook, right? Where I'm like, I gotta beat last week's numbers and I gotta go up in weight or reps or, quality of reps or whatever. And I think sometimes I get too focused on bumping up in weight where that's where I get caught up and I'm like, oh, gotta jump up in weight, gotta jump up in weight. Where it's like, no, because quality is decreasing here. And, not letting that ego take over, even if it just is for you, right? Not letting that ego take over of like for my RDLs, like I used to move 245 fairly easily, right? But when I look back at those videos, I'm like, mm, were they really quality reps? Was I really feeling them where I should? Like, or was I literally just moving the weight?
Yeah, just moving it.
And really turning back to dialing in form, dialing in tempo, dialing in the whole execution of the movement, and really feeling it where I need to, because I know that these movements are in my programming for a reason, because I
Mhm.
need to grow certain areas. That is really kind of where my thought has been at the forefront of it, where it's like, okay, I know I'm strong and I don't need to prove that to anyone or myself. Execute the movement as it's intended to, for the purpose that it's supposed to be. And that is where I have seen, literally even in the last 8 weeks of my gut protocol, the most progress in my physique.
I needed that reminder. I'm just thinking while you're talking, like, I needed this conversation because I probably don't have a lot to add, but I mean, I'm just like reiterating, like, same. Like, it's so hard not to go up in weight and not to try to hit that logbook or feeling like a failure walking out of your session if you didn't. I think that's what burnt me out a lot because I was in that mentality. Um, but learning to scale it back for you. And you said where you don't have to prove anything to yourself. I think that's huge because a lot of this is just us proving something to ourselves. It's
Mhm.
not anyone else, it's ourselves. And we don't have to do that because we know that we can do it. But are we really doing it? Or are we just moving shit to move shit?
Right. Right. And knowing that progressive overload doesn't always mean jumping up in weight or reps.
Mhm.
When we are actually executing a movement way better in quality, like that's a huge win. Even if you're backing down in weight, if you are executing that movement better and feeling that movement where it's supposed to be felt and making that connection, that's progressive overload. You're making progress there, and it took, like, I had to have that come to Jesus talk with myself where I'm like, okay, when Mark had that conversation with me, he's like, pretty much like, if you continue training like this, you're still taxing your CNS and this gut protocol is going to last longer. Where I'm like, oh shit, like I really am the only one in my own way here
Mhm.
because of my fucking ego when I'm training, you know?
Yeah.
And when I like had that like come to Jesus moment with myself, I'm like, okay, I'm the only one in my own way. And I truly like scaled back and like revamped and just retrained my brain and like fuck the weight, like just feel the actual movement. That has been night and day. And sidebar, I don't even know if I told you this. I think maybe I did. Yes, I did. My last check-in. So after I get home from Mexico,
Oh,
I get to
yeah.
wrap my second GI map and hopefully wrap up this kill phase and go into a repop phase. But if there's anything we still need to address, we will. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And
Hmm.
like that just literally goes to show, like, these last few weeks that I actually have been scaling back and like making sure that like everything is locked in where it needs to be. Progress, right?
Yep, exactly. I was just going to ask how long that's been, where you've been in this mindset of scaling it
It's
back. So it's,
probably, well, it was when because he revamped my training just a little bit. Um, so now I have like some top sets, some back down sets, and some of my movements. He took some of my movements out because he just could see that like even my sessions were still just killing me.
yeah.
And I was just useless after. And I'm very, very sensitive to stimulus with like my BG and everything like that. And the retraining of my training, reprogramming has been just night and day. So much better quality sessions. So it's probably been 2 to 3 weeks now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, so it's been really good, and it's just like a really good reminder for myself, even like I said, actually being grateful for those sessions and being excited to go in the gym and actually execute correctly, because I mean that's when I'm seeing the most progress, is when I'm locked in. I'm making sure that it's a quality session and it's purposeful and intentful, and I'm choosing to do this and I get to.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I needed this, so thank you. Now I get to go train legs and it's not so much of a fuck. Like
Yeah,
I don't want to do this. So,
I'll be right there with you tonight. I'm training legs tonight, so
well, good. We can do it together.
so
But you got anything else?
that's it.
All right. Well, hopefully this was a conversation that y'all needed too. If not, then thank you, Sarah, because this is helpful. Um, but let us know anything that you guys want. Like it, share it, subscribe. We are trying to get our YouTube subscribers up. So if you are listening to this or watching and you're not subscribed, help us out.
Yeah, how about we shoot for at least 100 subscribers by episode 50? So share it with someone, have them subscribe, and get us there, please.
Please and thank you.
And
All
guys,
right.
like, we appreciate any like sharing. Like, if you're listening, screenshot it, tag us, like, spread the word, because there's, that's the only way that we grow any of this too. And topics that
Yeah.
you guys want to hear too, because we're always open for that too.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of life-giving. Sometimes you're like, is anyone listening or is this just us
Yeah.
talking? So knowing that you guys are out there, it's fun to see. So thank
Yeah.
you.
So, all
All
right,
right.
guys, we'll see you next week.